All right, what we're going to look at here is some of the basic principles of squats. To squat well, there's a couple of principles that we need to adhere to in order to allow our squat to improve over time. And this is one thing about squats is, regardless of how long you're doing them, there is always ways to improve them. Okay, so today we're going to take a look at the feet and the hips, and if we apply a couple of rules and principles to these two things, our squat will improve. So let's have a look. Giddy up. So let's start with the feet. Basically, the most important thing in all movements, squats included, is that we find balance in the feet. So what I'm going to do here is rock into the heels and forward into the toes and find my midpoint. Once I have found my midpoint, I descend slowly into the squat, keeping the balance through the middle of my foot. Again, from a different angle, rocking back into my heels, forward into my toes, finding that midpoint. I'm really focusing on keeping the joint behind my big toe flat to the floor. And then really controlling the squat on the way down, maintaining that same balance point the entire time. So now let's take a look at the hips and the role they play in the squat. So it's very important to learn how to brace your abs when you're squatting. You'll see here as I brace my abs, the front of my shorts raise up and tips my hips into a more neutral position. Once my hips are in this neutral position, I maintain the tension through my abs and my core, descend to the bottom of the squat and rise back to the top with that tension still on. The abs will protect the lower back from injury. It's when we overarch the lower back without the abs on is when we put ourselves at a higher risk of hurting ourselves. So learn to brace your abs as if someone's punching you in the guts. Keep that tension on as you squat to the bottom and the whole way back to the top. So take your time when you're warming up for your squats. Slow your reps down, find balance in your feet, brace your core, and feel the movement. If the movement feels good, you're doing it right. If it doesn't feel top of the pops, something must be wrong. A couple of other ways I like to warm up is goblet squats. This allows me to still brace my core, find balance, and move well. And of course, I'm a big fan of a sandbag. Hug it into the belly, and it just improves movement just by practicing using it. All right, just a couple of takeaways from what we just done. Remember to stay fully balanced across the middle of the foot. We're always aiming to jam that big toe down and feel pressure in it, but really and truly what it's about is balance through the entire foot, through the whole, I suppose, range of motion of the squat, from the top right down to the bottom and the whole way back outward as well. And with the hips, we're really talking about the core. Brace your abs as if someone's going to punch you in the guts, and keep that on, especially under load, to keep you super safe and to protect the back. If the abs aren't on, you're not protecting the lower back, and this must stay on the whole way through the movement. All right, any questions on that, please feel free to reach out and ask. Giddy up.